Hey, Lakeisha here. I hope everyone is having an amazing day so far. Today is Monday, December 7th, 2020. Before I go any further, I just want to say that 2020 has been wild. Everybody knows that. In fact, 2020 has been hella wild. I'm sure everybody can agree with me on that. And I'm just going to let that sit right there. I've been promising myself for the past few weeks that I was going to do a video because I want to share an experience that I had a few months ago. Basically, the day after my 44th birthday, turned double fours, June 15th, I went in for an appointment because my OB-GYN wanted to do an MRI. She scheduled me for an MRI because she wanted to take a closer look at my lady parts. She wanted to get a bit of a view of my female reproductive system, and she ordered that test with contrast. You know, most people go in and they do MRI with contrast, CT scan with contrast, and they don't have any effects. Well, sitting on that table that day, the moment the nurse started injecting that dye into my system, I immediately sat up. I called for the nurse, and I just was like, oh my gosh, is this supposed to make you? And just like that, I just started vomiting. I was severely nauseous. I started itching, developed a couple of rashes, and they kept me for a little bit for observation, had a nurse check me out. They could not give me any Benadryl because I had driven myself there, and that would have impaired my ability to drive. Possibly it could have. I got home and still felt a little bit ill, but I was determined to just keep pressing. But they told me that if some symptoms became severe, that I should seek medical attention immediately. I remember getting this headache that was horrifying. I had no idea at the time. I couldn't make the connection. I didn't know where the headache came from. And just days later, I was just still not feeling my best. But during that season, because it's COVID season, everybody's spending a lot more time inside of their homes. I had promised my daughter that we were going to keep up with our exercise regimen. So I was still trying to do that, just because I wanted to make sure that I was feeling as best as I could. So on one particular morning, I woke up, was still feeling a little bit nauseous. I did my hula hoop. I pulled out my jump rope and I was jump roping, and mid jump rope, I remember a pain going straight through my abdomen and through my back, and I was just completely bent over. Painful, immediately painful. I had no idea what the heck was going on, so I just kind of chilled for a minute. It instantly debilitated me. Made myself over to the couch and laid there. Thought maybe I had taken too long to get a bite to eat, because when I'm exercising, I don't always, like to eat a heavy meal. I just try to get something simple. So had my daughter bring me a banana. She brought me a banana. First bite into that banana, I remember just that whole nauseous and vomiting feeling coming back again. So I just kind of laid there for a minute. By the time I tried to go upstairs, so I wanted to get a shower to freshen myself up since I had started exercising, I literally had to pull myself up the stairs. I was literally dragging myself up the stairs, and got up there, and that vomiting feeling came right back. So I ran to the bathroom, and Craig, who currently works midnights, he heard me, moving around, and he's just like, hey, what's going on? And I just told him, I don't know. I said, I keep throwing up. I don't know what's going on, but I think I need to get to the hospital. And I had gone for a follow-up appointment, or just a basic appointment with my doctor, and my creatinine number, they had done blood work that day. My creatinine number was normal. It was a little bit high for me, but it was still normal, like right at 1. Mine is normally, below 1, which is in normal range. By the time I got to the ER that day, my creatinine number had crept up to like a 1.6. So anybody who's familiar with kidney function knows that your creatinine number helps measure your kidney function. So basically, it was 1.6 when I got to the ER. They told me that it was one thing, and it turned out being something different, and they sent me home. So when I got home, I was increasingly sick. I wasn't really comfortable with the way that I was feeling. So I reached out to an on-call nurse, and she basically kept me on the phone for a minute, asked me a lot of questions. She was asking me about my urinary habits. Have you gone to the restroom, man? I had to tell her, actually, ma'am, I haven't. So she says, here's what I'm going to do. If you give me permission, it was a little late in the evening. She said, but if you give me permission, I'm going to give you a call back and check on you. I just want to check on you in a few hours. She said, you seem like you're doing what you need to do. You're drinking water, you're drinking your Gatorade, because I had been throwing up. That was a good way to replenish my electrolytes. And she said, you should be able to go to the restroom before I call you back. So she called back. It was a little after midnight, and hey, sweetie, have you gone to the restroom? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, sweetie, you need to hightail it to the emergency room now. She says, you go back, you tell them that they just released you, and you tell them that you haven't been able to go to the restroom. So when I left the ER earlier that day, my creatinine level was at a 1.6. By the time I made it back, that sucker was at a 4.2. Nobody knew what the heck was going on. They did all kinds of tests because I told them that I had been exercising rigorously, and they said that the test that would measure whether or not the exercise that I was doing was not high enough. It was not high at all, for me to have been, pushed into kidney troubles from exercising too hard. It kept me, obviously. In fact, they kept me for like 2 weeks. My creatinine number just kept creeping up higher and higher and higher. So as I stated, it was 4.2. The next day it was in at like 6.2. The next day after that, it crept up to like 7. Then it went up to 8. And then it went up to 9. And I believe it went up to 10. I was in kidney failure. And I did not make the connection that all of this was from that MRI dye until I was going through all these different things. It's noted that one of the severe side effects of the MRI contrast or other contrasts is impaired kidney function. You can go into acute kidney failure. I was there. And when I tell you that is probably one of the scariest things that I have ever been through in my life. I felt like I was dying. In fact, I was dying. One of the medicines that they gave me in the hospital had an allergic reaction to that caused me to swell profusely. I was in bad shape. That medicine also caused me to bleed. I had no platelets. My platelet level was so low that basically I was just lying there hemorrhaging almost to death. So I just wanted to share this, not for attention of any kind, but I just wanted to share it because MRI dyes, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't know if your body can take it, it can cause a lot of problems. So I'm feeling like there's a whole lot more people out there than me that have had an MRI and that have had the contrast, and you're wondering or have been wondering why your body suddenly started betraying you. That could be the issue. Now I'm grateful that my body reversed just as quickly as those numbers went up. During those 2 weeks, those numbers did come down, but my kidney function was impaired, and I've had to go through a lot to, get that sucker back on normal track. Just a lot of a healthy, natural treatment, along with the guidance of the medical team that's been facilitating my care. Another thing, and I hope I don't have a change of tone here, but during that season, I'm so grateful for everybody who took the time to check out on me, to check in on me rather. I could not do a whole lot for myself. This sucker literally impaired me severely. When I was discharged from the hospital, I can barely get myself to and from the bathroom, couldn't make it up and down the stairs without severe pain. So definitely wasn't in the kitchen cooking. Could not stand there and cook. I had to learn how to put one foot in front of the other. In fact, I just got discharged from home physical therapy just a few days ago, and I got admitted right into outpatient physical therapy, because when you're laying around, when you have those impaired functions like that, your body just goes through so much, and it's a challenge. So I tend to think of myself as a strong person, but I can't imagine, other people that may have gone through a situation similar to this or any illness, COVID, you need help. You need people to check in on you. So I just want to encourage people to be aware of the side effects that could potentially happen if you should go for an MRI. But I also want you to remember to please check in on your strong friends, because sometimes your strong friends might need a little bit of help. They might need a little support too. Just know that I am grateful, and I hope everyone can take something positive from this 2020 experience. I want to offer sincere condolences to everyone who has lost a loved one, family, or friend. I know that I've had my share of losses during the season, and as I started saying before, 2020 has been hella wild, but I'm just praying that as we transition into 2021, we can hold on to something, the love of God, and just the love of those that are family and friends around us, and just embrace and prepare for a fabulous 2021. All right, love you all. Hope you're having the most amazing day on purpose. Take care.